We're back for UFC 320. Best bets this weekend from the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. In the main event, Magomedov defends the light heavyweight championship in the rematch against Alex Pereira. 14 fights on this card, and we have got our 5 best bets for this card, and we'll go over them obviously in just a few moments. But folks, before we get into the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more UFC PFL content here on the channel. Earlier in the week, we did post our full UFC 320 predictions for all 14 fights. I guess the Atiba Gutierrez fight against Ozzy Diaz got canceled, so instead he's fighting Tristan Vines. Nothing changes. Gutierrez is going to win the fight by first round knockout. And then also we did post our PFL predictions earlier in the week as well. Magomedov versus Hughes 2 from Dubai on Friday night or Friday morning. Make sure to check that video out and hit that subscribe button down below for more. Main channel, Greedo plays college football, NFL, college basketball soon, MLB best bets. Don't want to miss those. Let's get on now to the first of our 5 best bets this weekend for UFC 320. Kicking things off with our first moneyline bet. Give me Zombie Jr. Ju Sang Yu. I was a little on the fence to start the week. I am now officially buying in. I am officially drinking the Kool-Aid on Ju Sang Yu. I know Daniel Santos is talented. I completely understand that. I believe the UFC sees an opportunity, though, to get Ju Sang Yu at least, further along in the division. You get a guy in Daniel Santos who has been more of a wrestler than a striker in his last couple fights, and I think as long as Ju Sang Yu is able to stuff those takedowns, I think he should be able to win. I know we've only seen him in the octagon for 28 seconds. I get that. There's an extremely, small, there's a small sample size we have to take from Ju Sang Yu fights. I completely get that. But if he's able to stuff takedowns out of Daniel Santos and force him into a striking battle, I think it's a rough night in the office for Santos. Look at Santos' last fight. Does he outstrike Ji Young Lee in the portions of that fight when it's on the feet? Yeah, but Lee's really competitive in a lot of the striking exchanges. First round, a very tight round. You should give it to Daniel Santos, but he goes 0 for 5 for takedowns, 0 for 5 on takedowns in that round. And Ji Young Lee is competitive striking-wise in that first. Second round, Santos takes over. Third round, he takes over as well. But if Yu's able to stuff takedowns, I think he's going to be in a pretty good spot. I don't think Santos is able to match him on the feet. Again, we've only seen 28 seconds of Ju Sang Yu in the UFC, and it is a first-round knockout victory over Jekka Sadig. But prior to that, decision victories in ZFN, Zombie Fight Night, over in Korea. We know he can go the full 15, but the power is going to be there from Ju Sang Yu, and I'm fully buying into the hype. I mean, the way I see it, the UFC is not going to give Ju Sang Yu a fighter that they don't think he can beat. They want to cash in on the Korean market. They want to cash in on the fact that he's, zombies, the next guy up. He's the next zombie, right? And he just hits like a truck. Obviously, like Chan Sung Jung did in the past as well. But Daniel Santos is a guy who's 12-2, 3-1 in the UFC. But, wins over John Castaneda. That was a good back-and-forth fight. Johnny Munoz, by the way, he got dropped by John Castaneda. Johnny Munoz win, Ji Young Lee win. Another thing about Santos, he doesn't really fight. He's had a fight in 2025, but the dude's been in the UFC now for 3 years. He's had 4 fights. Not a lot of activity. Ju Sang Yu is back for the second time here in 2025, made his UFC debut back in Newark, New Jersey in June, again with the Jekka victory, and I think he should be able to do it again against Daniel Santos. So my original prediction at the beginning of the week was Ju Sang Yu by first round knockout. I don't think anything changes. I think if he's just really able to sit down in his punches, he should be able to win. Am I buying into the hype a little too much? Maybe, but here's the thing about Ju Sang Yu. It's not like he is a prospect, but at the same time, he's not. He's 31. He's the older fighter between him and Santos. So I know, again, he doesn't have the most experience. He's only had 10 pro fights. But it's not like this is a young guy. It's not like he's, just gotten started in mixed martial arts. Yu's been fighting at least in the amateur ranks since 2017. So he's been around, and he's an older fighter. He started amateur MMA when he was 24. He's 31 now, and, we get a guy who's not really, I guess stepping into his prime. He's already in his peak physical prime for the most part. So it's not like this is a developmental thing with him, and that's why I think the UFC has booked him to fight a guy who's already had 4 fights in the promotion. So I'm going to be going with Ju Sang Yu to knock out Daniel Santos in the first round. I just think Santos has really been relying on the grappling. The Johnny Munoz fight's all wrestling out of Daniel Santos. So as long as Yu's able to keep this fight standing, he'll win. And I think, again, if he gets Daniel Santos stuck in some striking exchanges, I think Santos is going to lose. Again, John Castaneda dropped him back in 2022. I know Santos eventually won that fight by TKO, but there's a big potential for Ju Sang Yu to find an early finish in this one. I think that's exactly what he's going to do. Give me Zombie Jr. Ju Sang Yu to knock out Daniel Santos in the first round for our first best bet of the night. We go on now to our second best bet of the video. We go to a 2-leg parlay. You're going to see 2 parlays in this video, and I will explain the final bet that we have today because I had to dig a little bit for our final bet. I will be completely honest with you, okay? There were 4 bets I really like. The 5th one, I think it's a good bet. It's just the last one I put together because I couldn't find anything else in the card that really stood out to me, and I'll get to that at the end of the video. But right now, it's our 2-leg parlay. We have gotten the first leg. I believe the Puna fights first, right? Yes. Puna Soriano beating Nikolai Varetnikov. And then we also have in the second leg, Edmund Shabazian to beat Andrea Muniz. So, I mean, this together will get you to minus 125. It's playable odds. I mean, you take, again, 2 guys. I mean, Shabazian hovering around minus 275. You get Soriano who's hovering around the minus 220 mark. And you just combine the 2 for a 2-legger. I don't mind it. I look at Puna Soriano, 5-4 in the UFC, coming off a knockout victory in the best win of his career. We just have to say that against Uros Medic, knocking him out with the right hook 30 seconds into the bout. He's taken on Nikolai Varetnikov or Varetnikov. I still don't know how they're going to pronounce it because they've done both in the past. Varetnikov, 1-2 in the UFC. He did not beat Francisco Prado. Competitive fight. Don't think he won that one. Lost his first 2 fights in the UFC. Close fight to Danny Barlow. I didn't think it was that close. Well, I thought it was close. I thought Barlow clearly won 2 rounds, though, and then got dominated in Seattle by Austin Vanderford. Lost that fight via second-round TKO in a fight where Varetnikov loses, and then he pushes Vanderford from up behind him after the fight's ended. Cool. W sportsmanship, I guess. Dana doesn't care, you know. I mean, these two guys are locked in a cage against each other, and you expect them to be nice? You expect them to be civil? I mean, fair play. Anyways, I'm going Soriano to win this fight. Guys, I don't think Varetnikov is high level at all. Again, barely got by Prado, who Prado in his own right was not a very good UFC fighter. He went 0-3 in the promotion. Varetnikov, goes out there and barely wins it, but you look at the fights that he has lost. I mean, it's just, he's hesitant to pull the trigger in a bunch of bouts. And sure, was Danny Barlow hesitant to pull the trigger in the Apex a couple years ago too, or last year when they fought? 100%. But the output's just not there for Varetnikov. I look at Puna Soriano. This is a guy who's willing to unload, and he's a guy who's able to sit down in his punches. I think Puna's run recently has been great. I mean, this is a guy who was kind of wrote off after he, lost 4 of 5 fights. He was at the peak, man. Puna Soriano, I say this all the time, he was the first ever fight on ABC. First ever fight on ABC. Dana went on IG Live and promoted it and said this is undefeated versus undefeated. Puna Soriano, Dusko Todorovic. Great. Puna then gets a huge spot against Brendan Allen. He is a favorite to beat Brendan Allen, who's fighting in 2 weeks in a main event in Vancouver, British Columbia against Reino de Ritter for a potential title shot. And Puna loses by decision. Then he gets Nick Maximov. He loses to Nick Maximov. Diaz, 209 product. Then beats Dalcia Lujanbula, loses to Roman Kopylov, gets subbed by Dustin Stoltz after getting knocked down, and now back-to-back victories and dominant victories. I mean, he 30-25s Miguel Baeza. Legitimately, those are cards. He got 2 30-25 cards in the Baeza win over in Kentucky, in Louisville, and then a 30-second knockout of Uros Medic. I like Soriano in this bout, and I think he should beat Varetnikov pretty easily. Again, earlier in the week, I went first round knockout. I still believe it. Second leg of the parlay, Shabazian Muniz. Muniz is washed. I mean, I expect both these bouts that we have in the 2-leg parlay to be first round knockouts, just because I think, again, Varetnikov, he's 35. There's not much else he can offer. Muniz, he's 35 as well. Shabazian, it's forgotten how young Edmund Shabazian still is. I know, again, he did not live up to expectation. I know he did not live up to the hype. Obviously, being in the Rousey camp did not help, and being, one of the main prospects the UFC wanted to push at one point in time did not help his luck, really. But he's still only 27 years old. And I will be damned if he's not able to go out here and beat Andrea Muniz, who, yes, he beat Jun Young Park 2 fights ago, but a guy who looks like he's about done in the UFC. He just does. Loser in 3 of his last 4 fights. Yes, he barely got a win over Jun Young Park, where the guy did literally 0 damage. He does 0 damage and he wins the bout. It's okay, because grappling, whatever. At least look to strike once you're on the ground, or at least attempt a submission. I don't know. And then for Muniz, right? Last fight, lost to Ikram Aliskerov. Before the Junior Park fight, lost to Paul Craig, lost to Brendan Allen. I mean, he's 35 and there's not much else he can offer. Is he a good grappler? He is. Will he be able to get takedowns? I don't know. Muniz's pure wrestling game is not the best, and I know that's what's really held Shabazian back too in some fights, is that he just gets grounded. But the guys he gets grounded against are really good. Anthony Hernandez, Nasruddin Imavov got Shabazian down. Derek Brunson, Jack Hermanson. I think the fight that we saw in Shabazian's last bout against Andre Petroski is a huge step in the right direction. I mean, I'll say it right now, I thought Petroski was going to win. Now, obviously, now Petroski losing to Rouston last week, I think he's about done. But I thought Petroski was just going to be able to ground him the entire fight, and he tries, but Shabazian does a good job stuffing those, does a good job getting back up to his feet, and Shabazian wins the fight. He knocks down Petroski in the fight. He wins it pretty much 30-27. I think one judge gave a round to Petroski, but a pretty dominant win for Shabazian. Same thing should be said here in this fight. I mean, I know, again, Petroski and Muniz are a little bit different in fighters. Petroski more of a heavy wrestler, and then Muniz obviously more of a grappling jiu-jitsu guy, but I would be very surprised if Shabazian does not win this one. I'm going to go Edmund Shabazian to beat Andrea Muniz, and you parlay that with Puna Soriano. That's going to be minus 125 on a 2-leg parlay. Sign me up. Next up, we go to the main card. We're going to go with the over in the Joe Pifer Abus Magomedov fight. I originally picked Joe Pifer to win by decision. I still have Joe Pifer to win by decision. However, I would not bet on the winner of this fight. Now, I know the odds are not great, so why would you bet on the winner of this fight? But there is a potential, there's a definite potential, in my opinion, for Abus to win. I think Abus can 100% beat Joe Pifer. I don't think Pifer's that good, and I think we see some wrestling out of Abus Magomedov. If I'm Abus, that's what I'm doing. I mean, he outstruck Michel Pereira in not a great fight, but he was always first to the punch, and he was beating down Pereira. Now, that victory doesn't age as well, obviously, because of the Kyle Dawkins victory in, was it Macau, or it was Shanghai. In the Shanghai win for Kyle Dawkins, where he knocked out Pereira in the first round. But I look at Abus, and this is a guy who's now won 3 straight fights. Now, his competition, whatever, Warley Alves, Bruno Ferreira, Michel Pereira. However, Abus Magomedov, the over 1.5 rounds is hit in 5 up to 6 Abus Magomedov UFC fights. He's not that quick of a finisher. He's not. He knocked out Dustin Stulsus in the first round with a front kick. That's great. In his first ever UFC fight in France. Since then, Abus Magomedov has gone over 1.5 rounds in every single fight that he's fought. Strickland fight, I know that was 5 rounds, but still. Kyle Borjaio fight went to a decision. Warley Alves fight went to a decision. Ferreira fight, he finished him late in the 3rd round. And Michel Pereira fight ended in a decision. I mean, Borjaio's good. I know Borjaio, is not the biggest knockout threat, even though he almost knocked out Derek Brunson once upon a time. Not Derek Brunson, Jared Cannonier once upon a time. But Abus doesn't really get finished. I mean, he got finished, this is, in the PFL final back in, what year was that? 2018, when Lewis Taylor knocked him out in 33 seconds. But I mean, that's an outlier. Abus was a heavy favorite to win that season of the PFL in 2018, and he didn't. But that could have changed the trajectory of his career, but it's okay. Abus doesn't really get quick finishes, at least in the UFC he hasn't, and he's not going to get finished. Also, I have a feeling he's going to wrestle. Why wouldn't you? I mean, I say it all the time with Abus Magomedov, born in Dagestan, grew up in Dusseldorf, Germany, but grew up enough in Dagestan to the point where he wrestled with the Dagestani camps growing up. Why wouldn't you try to take this guy down? I mean, I know Hermanson took down Pifer once in their 5-round main event fight in the Apex, but for the most part, Pifer is relatively unproven with his grappling, with his wrestling, especially a guy on Abus's level. Abus just doesn't always show that he has high-level wrestling, but look what he did to Bruno Ferreira. When he needs to get the fight down, he can. So, don't rule out the possibility of Abus Magomedov just out-wrestling Joe Pifer the entire fight. Now, if Pifer is going to win, I don't see Pifer knocking out Abus pretty quickly. I just do not see it. He took Kelvin Gastelum, fat Kelvin Gastelum at 185 pounds, to a decision. And I get it, Gastelum's chin has always been good. I understand that, but still. Knocked out Marc-Andre Berrios, low-level fighter. Finished Razak Al-Hassan in the 2nd round, not on the level of Abus Magomedov. Mearshart finished in the 1st round, not on Abus's level. And then what? Alan Amadovsky in the 1st round. Again, these are not high-level guys. Say what you want about Abus Magomedov. I mean, I think he is fairly high level. Is he better than Pifer? Will he beat Pifer? I don't know. And yes, Abus does cash in at the 35-year-old mark, like I've been talking about earlier in the video. But Magomedov's still winning fights. He's still looking good. And I think he's really competitive with Joe Pifer. This is not going to be a walk in the park like I think people expect it to be for Joe Pifer. Again, I was very close to picking Abus to win, and I want Abus to win, honestly. I'm not the biggest Pifer guy. I think he gets, I think the UFC kind of pushes him too much, and I'll never forget the Hermanson loss. That was ridiculous. You were gifted an opportunity and made us believe that Hermanson was still somewhat high level. And then he ran into RoboCop 2 years later after not fighting. And now he's going to fight Murtabek Orbalai at welterweight in Qatar. What? Who booked that fight? Okay. Hermanson going down. How old is Hermanson? 37? Going down to 170? Yeah, he's 37. That's ridiculous. Anyways, yeah, give me a boost Magomedov and Joe Pifer over 1.5 rounds. I'm not even saying, guys, there can be a late finish in this one. We just need it to pass 7.5 minutes. I would be shocked if someone gets a quick finish. If someone does get a finish, I will be honest, it's going to be Pifer, but I just don't think so. I think a boost is too good for that. I think a boost is going to make this fight, obviously take this fight later in, or go later in this fight because of his wrestling. I think he's going to, extend the fight a little bit because I don't see it with Pifer, man. He's good, and I think he'll beat a boost. I don't think he's going to dominantly finish a boost Magomedov early, though, because no one really does that. So give me Pifer by decision and give me the over. Next up, we go to our fourth best bet of the video. All right. I know it's only a 15-minute fight. I know, Rountree's good, but I'm taking Yuri Prochazka to finish Khalil Rountree by TKO. We get exactly plus 100 odds for this one, so sign me up. I don't want to call it a levels fight, but I believe it is a levels fight. Yuri Prochazka to me is on a higher level than Khalil Rountree Jr. And you can compare the Pereira fights and say, oh, Rountree took Pereira to the fourth round. He took Pereira to the fourth round. It was he kind of knocked down Pereira as well. Sure, he did. And Prochazka's fights against, Pereira did not go well. Got finished in the second round both times. You can say that, and that's okay. I'm telling you, though, Yuri's just better than Rountree. And you can make that, if you want to compare common opponents, you can make the same argument too. Well, Yuri finished Jamal Hill and Khalil Rountree, beat him up for 25 minutes but couldn't get the finish. Okay. Yuri Prochazka fights always end in knockout. They do. Oh, the Teixeira fight, he submitted him. Whatever. For the most part, Prochazka fights always end in knockouts. And if he's going to win, again, it's going to be by knockout. So, if we're picking Yuri Prochazka, we might as well pick him to win by TKO. So, again, what are the odds on Yuri? It's like minus 170, I believe, for Prochazka to win. Let me check that real quick. Minus 185. So, yeah, if we're picking Yuri, he could win by decision. I don't see it. I believe Yuri's going to walk forward, and normally you would not want to do that against Rountree because Rountree can counter-strike, but Prochazka's a madman, and Prochazka does usually land, so I'm not too concerned about that. So if we're going to be picking Yuri, I might as well pick him to win by knockout. And I don't need a certain round for this. Again, my original prediction early in the week on Sunday was Yuri Prochazka by second round TKO. I still stand by that, but I don't think Rountree's that much. I don't think Rountree's a better striker than Yuri Prochazka. I mean, we still need to go over this run, by the way. Okay. He beats Chris Dawkins coming down from 265. He beats Anthony Lionheart-Smith, gets popped for roids. They cancel the Jamal Hill fight. They say, you know what? You still fight Pereira. We don't care. We don't want Uncle Live. And that was for the better at the time. Loses to Pereira. His claim to fame is that he was tough and fought a difficult fight and pushed Alex Pereira to the fourth round. That's his claim to fame. And then he fights Jamal Hill, and he beats him over in Baku, Azerbaijan. But, I mean, come on. You don't get a finish. You're dominating, but you can't finish the guy. Something that has happened to Jamal Hill time in and time out. He just gets knocked out now. Prochazka's going to bring it to Khalil Rountree. And every tough guy Prochazka's fought, so every fight Prochazka's had in the UFC so far, he's finished. Now, I know the one exception, at least knockout-wise, is the win over Glover Teixeira. That was a submission. Weird fight. A fight that Prochazka was on his way to losing to a 40-year-old Glover, and it really just goes to show, the level of skill at 205 that Glover Teixeira at 42 years of age was going to beat Yuri Prochazka. But it's okay. This is fine. I'm going to go with Yuri to win this one, and I expect Yuri to find a TKO victory over Khalil Rountree Jr. at the same exact time. Are we forgetting again, Khalil's run's cool, but this guy got finished by Ion Cutelaba, got finished by Johnny Walker. Is this, part of the Obama administration? It is, but he's 35. He's not getting younger anymore, and if he was on steroids before, I think he's probably off it now. Just gonna say that. If he was still on roids from that initial pop back in June of 2024, I mean, I'm no steroid expert. I would have to ask John Jones. I forgot. John Jones is not the expert. You have to ask whoever the hell it was that you saw it at the time. Pictograms. I believe they stay in your system for about a year. He's coming off that now. Just saying. Prochazka hits like a truck, man. And he is way bigger than Rountree, too. They say Rountree 6'1", Yuri 6'3". That's going to look more like 6'4" and 6 feet, I believe. But that's fine. Give me Yuri Prochazka to win this fight by TKO. That's the bet here. Plus 100 for Yuri, the former champ. On to our final best bet. This is the one I had to dig for. I'm going to be completely honest with you. 3-leg parlay. We're going Austin Vanderford, Youssef Zalal, and Merab Dvalishvili. Now, originally I had, I got the same odds to do either this. Okay, I'll tell you my two options here. Because there's nothing else I really like. There's no, pick 'em fights. So I'm not going to give you, patchy mix minus 250, because, this wouldn't make sense, obviously. Or, let me give you Macy Chasson minus 225. Let's just parlay Chasson and mix. No, that would just be dumb, okay? So what I was looking for originally, I was going to go Merab and Zalal to win on points. But I thought, okay, what if Zalal does submit Josh Emmett? Because it can happen. Yair Rodriguez submitted Emmett back in Australia a couple years ago. So I said, you know what, let's just take the two money lines and take the next most confident fight I have. I was either going to go Fareed Basharat or Austin Vanderford. We get better odds of Vanderford. I'm going Vanderford. Now, we will quickly break down this 3-legger. I'm going Vanderford first. Vanderford does not get the respect he deserves. He's actually very good. He is 35 and he came into the UFC very late, but he's fighting low-level opponents. Ramiz Brahimaj is very low-level. 12-5 professionally. He's 32 in his own right. Yes, he's coming off back-to-back victories. Look who he beat. He beat Billy Goff and he beat Mickey Gall. That does not matter to me. Vanderford, you know what he's going to do. He's going to wrestle you. His striking game is evolving, but he's a wrestler at heart and a pure grappler, and he will give Ramiz Brahimaj a lot of trouble on the mat. Now, is this the hardest part of the parlay? Oh, yeah, it is. It is. But to me, Ramiz Brahimaj does not own the power to knock out Vanderford and put Vanderford away. How has Vanderford gotten beat before? Gegard Mousasi, Aaron Jeffrey. They both finished him. They both rocked him on the feet, and both those fights ended in exactly a minute and 25 seconds. Vanderford hasn't lost other than those two fights. Are you telling me right now Ramiz Brahimaj is better than Aaron Jeffrey or Gerald Mearshart? He's not. Oh, Aaron Jeffrey lost to Dalton Rosa. Don't dare. If Aaron Jeffrey fought Ramiz Brahimaj, he would beat Ramiz Brahimaj. Dalton Rosta would too, by the way, and Fabian Edwards, okay? All those guys from the PFL would beat Brahimaj. Impa Kasanganay would as well, even though he's been kind of rough recently in his last fight. Ooh, we got by one with Impa, but it's okay. I love Kasanganay. Give me Vanderford to win this one. All he needs to do is grapple Brahimaj. Oh, Brahimaj's got he's got, experience grappling-wise. He's got jiu-jitsu experience. Yes, he can kind of wrestle, but he's been out wrestling guys like Michael Gilmore. Austin Vanderford will show that there are levels here. And also, weird, the line on Vanderford has gone up so much over the week. I mean, Vanderford did not open this big of a favorite. Vanderford is now sitting at minus 280? What? I guess minus 270? Okay, I mean, that's fine. There's something that we don't know that's going on. Sure, Chael Sonnen and Paige Van Zandt are laying it all on Austin Vanderford here. That's fine. Give me Vanderford to win. Second leg. Main card, Josh Emmett, Youssef Zalal. I fully expect Zalal to win. I believe he's going to win by decision. I'm scared the submission's going to happen, though. So that's why I stayed away from, going Zalal on points and going Dvalishvili to win. Josh Emmett's 40 years old. I mean, if Josh Emmett wins, it's going to be a whole thing. Oh, Unk gets it done. He's still... John Anik's call is going to be, Josh Emmett! Whoa! He's still got the power at 40! And Rogan's going to go, oh! And then DC's going to be munching on popcorn. But I don't see that happening. Youssef Zalal, the fight over Calvin Kattar, was it entertaining? No. Youssef Zalal knows how to win now. Second stint in the UFC. He does not take chances. By the way, his first stint in the UFC ended because he lost to a guy named Ilya Topuria, and that sent him on a big losing streak. But he's back now. He won a lot in the regional scene, and now he's 4-0 in his second stint in the promotion. And he's going to go to 5-0 in the second stint. He does not take chances anymore, which, is that entertaining? Is that going to get on Dana's good side? No. Dana's going to hate him after this fight because they want Josh Emmett to knock him out. They do. They are sending Josh Emmett to get rid of Youssef Zalal. Zalal is going to outpoint him. Zalal is not going to take chances. He won't wrestle for that matter too, because Josh Emmett's got a wrestling background. No, he's going to stay on the outside. He's going to jab him to hell. Just going to keep on jabbing. Jab, 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 jab the entire fight. So he did in the Kattar fight. Didn't really take any chances. Third round, Zalal knows he's up 2-0. All right, let's start coasting. You're already up 2-1. You banked the first two. All right, you win. Cool. You let a washed Calvin Kattar win the third round against you, but it is what it is. That's how Zalal fights. Zalal will beat Josh Emmett. The only chance Emmett has is by knocking out Zalal. I highly doubt it, man. I just do. I mean, he knocked out Bryce Mitchell, but other than that, I mean, his last knockout prior to Mitchell, again, was in the Obama administration when he beat Mirsad Bektic. I'd be shocked if he knocked out Zalal here. Last leg. By the way, Ilia Topuria didn't even knock out Yusuf Zalal. And I get it, that was Topuria's first ever fight in the UFC, but this kind of puts it into perspective for you here. Zalal, by the way, never been finished. Can Emmett really win a 15-minute decision against Zalal? He cannot. At 40, no. Zalal's 11 years younger. Okay, about actually 12 almost. Final leg, Merab Dvalishvili to beat Corey Sandhagen. I know there is a growing optimism around the MMA community that maybe Sandhagen can win. Guys, I don't see it at all. This is just one of these false hope moments. Oh, Corey's going to catch him with the knee coming in. Corey scrambles well. Sure, you know who also scrambles well and throws knees up the middle? Petr Yan. And Merab made him look lost in there. I'm telling you guys, Sandhagen's 33. He's already fought Merab's teammate and best friend, Aljamain Sterling. They literally live across the street from each other. And I get it, Merab's a different fighter than Aljamain. But I think this is going to be a just wrestle-heavy beatdown from Merab Dvalishvili. I just think it's going to. I mean, Sandhagen, he did all right against Umar, but still lost every single round. I mean, what high-level guy has Corey Sandhagen ever beaten? That's the question you need to ask yourself. Has he ever beaten a high-level guy? Marlon Moraes, I guess, but Marlon was coming off a fight that everybody knew he lost to Jose Aldo. Frankie Edgar, yes, again, we were getting really excited about Edgar's run at 135. I'll admit, I picked Edgar to beat Corey Sandhagen at the time, and it did not go my way. I was not the only person, by the way, to pick Frankie Edgar to win that one, upset Sandhagen at plus 320. Anyways, at the same time, Edgar was 40, or 38. Sandhagen, he should have beat Dillashaw, but he didn't. Yanni loses. Song Yadong, I guess, is your elite win. Marlon Vera, guys, Marlon Vera's not that good. He's not. Rob Font, Figueiredo at 38, who's probably going to get knocked out against Montel Jackson next week. And then he lost to Umar. He hasn't beaten an elite guy. If you can't beat Aljo, you can't beat Dillashaw, can't beat Yan, can't beat Umar, how are you going to beat Merab? Oh, his jiu-jitsu's good. His grappling's solid off his back. I mean, sure. I just don't see Merab. Guys, Merab trains with Aljamain Sterling. He's not going to get caught off of his... He's not going to get caught, with Sandhagen on his back. That will not happen. I will be so shocked if Sandhagen wins. And Sandhagen said it himself. The way I got to beat this, I got to knock this guy out. Not going to win a decision against him. If you're chasing a knockout against Merab, he's going to take you down. I mean, look what happened in the O'Malley fights. I get it. Sandhagen's a different style of fighter than Sean. Same build. They do different stuff, obviously, but nothing changes the game plan at all from Merab. How do you beat a guy who doesn't get tired? My point exactly. Merab Dvalishvili wins. That's the 3-leg parlay. Again, Vanderford Zalal Dvalishvili minus 105. First time we've ever done a best bets video without the main event. Nothing to say. I hope Pereira wins. I don't think he's going to. I'm not confident enough to tell you, bet on Ankalaev. Not that confident about it. There's a chance Pereira can chin him, so we're going to stay away from the main event this week. Folks, thank y'all for watching our 5 best bets for UFC 320. If you haven't yet, though, make sure that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you did disagree with any of the picks. Folks, thank y'all for watching, and Mamba forever.